Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chair. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. One good thing coming out of this hearing is we all seem to agree that the debt and deficit are a big problem, perhaps the biggest problem our country faces right now. The bad thing is we disagree on emphasis about how to fix the problem. I would hope that we could build on some of the bipartisan collegial work we've already done. I think a lot of America, and sometimes we forget, the deficit reduction we've already done, perhaps more in history, recent history, than any other Congress over the last couple of years. I'd point to the $1.5 trillion in discretionary spending that we have reduced, not including the sequester, another 1.2 if you include the sequester. We've already got $600+ billion in tax revenues that were bipartisanly voted on, and with all that, you get another $500 billion in savings. So that's $2.5 trillion, folks. That's actually pretty darn good. But I'd argue respectfully that by doubling down on the sequester and the Republican budget, we don't get any more debt and deficit reduction. I mean, you can see this chart here, but it's very clear that if you put the sequester into effect, I don't care if it's the defense or the domestic programs, it doesn't change the trajectory going forward. So why are we beating a dead horse here? It does not make sense. It just does not make sense. I think that what we should be doing is talking about and respecting one another's opinions. Revenue has to be part of the additional equation. The revenue that was voted on bipartisanly in the fiscal cliff got us back to where the Simpson-Bowles Commission had assumed we were going to be in the beginning. What we need to do is look at additional revenues. Look at this chart here. This shows what revenues were when we actually were able to balance the budget. They were in the high 19s, almost 20%. Right now, with our projections, we're going to be at 19.1. We're not going to get a balanced budget on just spending cuts alone, folks. It's just not going to happen. So I'd urge everyone to think long and hard about listening to the other side, not just proselytizing about our own side. I agree with my colleagues that health care spending is the biggest problem our nation faces right now. Well, no one anticipated, I don't think, the baby boomers being such a huge cost. It's not Obama's fault. It's not Bush's fault. It's mathematics, folks. Better quality health care that costs more, increasing numbers of people and less people to pay for it at the end of the day. So let's get real. Let's get together. Let's have some tax reform that puts some revenue on the table to not only pay down on the deficit, make sure Medicare is solvent, and let's actually go ahead and make sure that we have an opportunity for serious reductions in Medicare spending that we actually both agree on and don't shift burdens just to our seniors. With that, I'd like